Hi everybody, in this video I thought I would talk to you about one of the best pop records I've heard in recent time. It is the new record from Swedish band Weeping Willows. It's called After Us. As you can see, I have managed to obtain a signed copy since I pre-ordered it, and it comes in a digibook like so. And for those of you who doesn't know Weeping Willows, they started out as a sort of Elvis or Orbison tribute band who performed at a local bar/restaurant in Stockholm, and they have been known for making dramatic orchestrated pop with lots of strings and a horn section. And some years ago their debut album, I think, celebrated 20 years, and they played it in their entirety at the Globe Arena, Stockholm's large Globe Arena, with the entire Gävle Symphony Orchestra backing them up. And they performed the album straight as it was, and there was a duet with a female singer on the album, and they had even invited her. And after the intermission they performed others of their hits in orchestrated versions. They had real conductor with them and the same horn musicians that they used to use on their records. And the frontman of the band, Magnus Carlsson, is a man with a very distinctive voice. He also has a solo career where he, for instance, has taken Northern Soul classics and written Swedish lyrics to them and recorded them. So this is a band who's firmly rooted in the soul, rock and roll soil of late 50s, 60s, early 70s, one might say. And the concert in Globen I attended, I sat on front row seats, and I was very pleased with it. The only thing I didn't like about it was just one thing, but it just mark on the side. I had booked it because it was going to be a one-time event, so I had booked for a show at Saturday at 7 in the evening. But it got such a huge demand that I also did a show on Friday 7 in the evening and on Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But the singer did read us and say, I like this show best and you're the best audience. Although it's the last show, this was the first one we planned, so you are a real true fan, so booked for the original show. And when I went into the Globe Arena to take my seat sometime before the intermission, before the show I should say, apart from selling souvenirs, there were also, I think, some people dressed up in costumes. They were animals. I think it was a panda bear or it was a polar bear, I don't remember. And these people were handing out leaflets, and they were also having stands talking about the environment, because Weeping Willows is and has always been not a politically activistic band, but I mean they're not as much as, for instance, you see Morrissey or Neil Young with his rants or his anger towards Monsanto. Not like that in a way, but they are seriously worried about the climate. And I should say that the band consists of, like I say, Magnus Carlsson and some other players. And it is common for the band that Magnus writes all the lyrics and the music he composes with the rest of the members of the band. So apart from a few covers that I did early on that I have on the deluxe edition of their debut album, which were recorded live on various occasions or released as early singles and demos, they do not now perform covers. They do only their own material. Well, a couple of years ago they released a Christmas CD, and that features covers like Sunday at Christmas and so on. But and this new CD, which is called After Us, is a slight departure for them. Yes, there is a horn section, but it's not as prominent. Those who want some sort of Elvis-esque ballads will be quite disappointed. And their usual horn section is not present at all on this CD. Because apart from the members of the band, which apart from Magnus Carlsson on vocals is Anders Härstam on drums, Una Nyström on guitars, and the multi-talented Nico Rölicke, who performs piano, Hammond B3 organ, accordion, guitar, and pedal steel guitar. They have a Swedish guy called Anders Kapelin who plays bass on the CD. But the additional musicians, apart from him, are, well, one of them is actually Swedish, but they are based the strings and horn section in Great Britain. And there's also a guest artist, a singer-songwriter called Martha Skye Murphy, who sings duet with Magnus Carlsson on one of the tracks. And the reason why there are British musicians is because that the brass is recorded at Church Road Studios in Brighton, and the strings are recorded at Resident Studios London. And it's also mastered by a guy called Peter Manor London. But the band themselves has recorded in Capsule Studio Stockholm, like they used to do for their last albums. And one might wonder, why are the brass and strings recorded in London? That's because strings and horns are arranged by the album's producer, who has also mixed the CD, and that is Barry Adamson, the guitarist, multi-instrumentalist, who is probably mostly known as one of Nick Cave's Bad Seeds. They have brought him in to bring new life into them, and he certainly has produced this well. Magnus Carlsson, who has a very distinctive blue-eyed voice, which is sort of a mixture of Elvis and Roy Orbison, sings better than ever. There are 10 songs in this CD. And for those of you who are not aware of it, Sweden, we talk a lot about climate change, and climate anxiety is a word that's fusioned. And is a word, well, it's not fusioned, it has been quite popular in the media lately. And Magnus Carlsson himself has said in various interviews when this album came out, which I've seen, that he as a father has feelings of climate angst. He is worried about the climate change and what it will do to the planet, so he has written music and lyrics about that process, how he feels. And this is not a CD that tries to feed you a message. This is not political activism. I mean, you do not have to agree with climate change and have feelings of climate change anxiety towards it to listen to enjoy this. This is 10 glorious pop songs of best sort. My favorite is actually track number 2, which is called Let Go, which is a song about someone dying. It's the morning after the longest night. I hold your dying hand in mine. I understand there's nothing I can do, but I try my best to comfort you. You look so peaceful, there's no more pain. Was there a smile when I whispered your name? I know their time has come for you to leave, and I give in to the force of the disease. We're all just passing through into the past. Fading footprints in a sea of sand will leave our hearts and souls. Some things we cannot hold. We'll have to let go. It's the beginning of the song. It's marvelous. I've listened to this over and over since it came, and this is surely a candidate for best CD of the year, all categories. So if you like pop music with a meaning, with wonderful lyrics, wonderful music, and all perfectly executed, this is a CD to listen to. And like most CDs nowadays, it is available to listen to in its entirety on YouTube. If you do not if you don't use YouTube as pay for it, you can of course listen with commercial interruption. But I urge you to listen to this. This is a wonderful CD. It's a lot unlike some of their previous works, but I still rank it as one of their best CDs so far. And I also love this glorious, I must just show you this glorious artwork here. Look at this. It looks like something from possibly Lord of the Rings or some sort of fantasy movie, but this Weeping Willows After Us is pure gold. Nothing more, nothing less than pure pop gold.